Okay, everyone, welcome to physics again. Welcome to physics. I'm so sorry that I was on leave for the past 2 weeks. And just to give you the good news, that I'll be back uh, doing synchronous lessons on Tuesday next week. So please, on Tuesday, we're going back to Teams, and we'll be able to have our regular conversation and teaching and learning like we normally do. So I'm so excited to be back, and I'm looking forward to actually hear from everyone and see what we can do to help you get back on your feet and ready to learn. So I just wanted to share a little bit of physics before we meet again on Tuesday next week. So we, when I left, we were actually talking about 1D motion, one-dimensional motion. And when we talk about one-dimensional motion, what it means is motion either forward, backwards, or side to side. So motion forward, backwards, or side to side. So if we are looking at a graphing paper, this motion will be represented as x motion. So we are on the x-axis of the graph. So when we are talking about motion, there's a couple of variables that we will be looking at. Okay, so when we talk about motion, we'll be looking at, this is 1D motion. Talk about motion, we'll be looking at things like distance, things like time, things like speed, things like velocity, and things like acceleration. Okay, so those variables will be discussed when we talk about 1D motion. It's the same variable that we'll talk about when we're looking at 2D motion, but we're going to look at them differently as we look at them when we are actually talking about just 1D motion. So let me give you some just basic understanding of these variables. Okay, so distance in some ways is just uh, if you have 2 points A and B, if we have 2 points A and B, so the distance between those 2 points will be represented by distance. The length between those 2 points will be represented by distance. So there is a difference between distance and also um, what we call displacement. Displacement. Okay? So displacement is just a direct distance between A and B. Okay, so direct distance between 2 points. Distance, it can be, you can move this way to get to B, you can move this way to get to B. This all is a distance. Okay, so there's a difference. But the straight line point that connect A and B, that is what we call displacement. And distance is just any length covered between point A and point B. And distance, if we use the SI unit of measurement, distance will be represented by a unit called meters. Meters. So all this is going to be in meters. Meters. Okay, if you can see that, let me switch a little bit so you should be able to see what is going on. Yes, and time is just a fraction of the time that passes between one event and the next event. So time is that fraction of moment that passes between two events. So if you have event A and event B, between those two events, there's time that passes for the event to happen, right? So that time is going to be represented by the unit called second. Okay, so second is S and meter is M. So the shorthands for all these units. And then we have what we call speed. So speed is given by distance divided by time. Distance divided by time. So this will be the formula for speed. Distance over time. So because we have distance on the top, so it will be meters on the top slash seconds on the bottom. So the SI unit for speed will be meters per second. Meters per second. Next thing is velocity. Okay, so velocity, like you remember when we talked about scalar and vector quantities, velocity is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity, and so the formula for that will be displacement divided by the time it took between those two events. Okay, so displacement again is in meters and time is in seconds. So the unit for speed and the unit for velocity are exactly the same. The only thing that is added to velocity is the direction. As you remember, when we talk about vectors, vectors have also something what we call direction, where it is headed. So it can be north, it can be south, it can be west, or it can be east, or it can be northeast. Any number of geographical representation that we can use to describe a general direction for a given object. And the last thing is acceleration. Acceleration, which is the change in velocity, so VF minus VI over T. So change in velocity, which is velocity final minus velocity initial, divided by the time it took for the object to change velocity. And this is what is going to give you the acceleration, which is meter per second per second. Okay, so the unit is meter per second divided by second, which is going to make it meter per second, or meter per second squared. Okay, so we will go back and start from 1D motion, and I will explain all these concepts very slowly so we can all get back to where we were and move on from there. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to going back to synchronous presentations. So on Tuesday, please do not go to Verge on Tuesday. We're going back to Teams, and I'll see you there. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy.